Hello, everyone. We will still wait for a few minutes and waiting for Bas to get his microphone and video on also. But let's wait for a few minutes still for the remaining attendees to join, and great to have you all here. So just a few minutes or seconds. All right. We still have a little bit of a technical troubles with Bas. We had a try rehearsal, believe it or not. So let's still give him. I see him as a presenter, but microphone and video somehow not yet working. So let's give Bas still some time. I'm sorry for the wait. And now we lost him. What we will do anyways now is, in case Bas for some reason does not get that operating, we will start anyways, and then let's hope he gets it up and running in the next 15 minutes or so I can do the kind of presentation from MeetingPackage side first. And now we have Bas.
All right, sorry.
Thank you.
No worries. It's something, whatever. All right. Thank you for having me join us. Go ahead.
I was already starting to sing and entertain everyone here, but anyway, glad that you made it, Bas, and really happy that we are here today. So today we're talking about the preparement of how to increase and automate your HotelPlanner meetings.com sales, meetings and event sales through the partnership we have recently launched and went out public with between the parties. But before we go there, I just refresh everyone and to give a little bit more information about the two companies and why we ended up into a partnership, and then what's the impact, and then how can you actually configure and operate within MeetingPackage, and how that will be then displayed to the HotelPlanner network. But before we start, Bas, for the people who don't know, maybe you can give a little bit of details of HotelPlanner, meetings.com, what it was, who you are, how was the pandemic, and what is in the future, so to say.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me. And of course, exciting of our partnership we did. And I think it will really help a lot of partners from you and from us in the future. My name is Bas Lemmens. I'm more than 22 years in the online travel industry. Former companies were Booking.com, eBookers. And I joined 3.5 years ago with HotelPlanner and Meetings.com. Coming from the group business, and HotelPlanner is now 70 years old, founded by Tim Henschel and John Prince. And their mission is how can we make the whole group booking process easier, and even down the road, how can we make also individual bookings, but also especially on corporate events or corporate bookings, make it more easy for our clients, corporate clients, or even event planners, wedding planners. How can we make it more easy for them that they can find the right venue for their event? I joined 3.5 years ago, and my mission is really to automate the space more. As where we come from is really the RFP business, and as people probably know, what the RFP is, request for proposal. So every, make an example. And if a corporate event in London with 50 attendees, it went all by email. It went a request. We get a quote. We also were looking for meeting rooms. We get a quote for that one. We had to confirm it and go back to the client. So a lot of manual work, as I think, coming from also from the OTA business, is you can make it as easy as booking an hotel room where everybody's now used. You can book it in 3 steps. You find the right room, right configuration, and you book the room. I think this is also possible for the meeting room business. These challenges, of course, we approaching, also MeetingPackage is approaching that one. How can we make it more easy that it is available online? For you to know, we are an American company. I'm leading Europe, Africa, and the Middle East, and also partly Asia. We have an office also in Singapore. And the pandemic was for us a big change because, of course, the group business went down. But what we saw is really that a lot of people trying to reach us, first, of course, of canceling their booking. But more and more, we saw that people really need to speak to somebody human to see if they still could travel. So what we did, we changed. We went from group bookings to individual bookings, and a lot by phone. So we have now 3,000 people on the phone who are calling us because they need for the work, or they need for leisure lately again, need an hotel room, or even they need a meeting room, and we help them and we handle it by phone. And we have now 3,000 agents, and we expect to go to 10,000 agents. And that is a little bit maybe for some people strange because it's online to offline. But most, of course, as you all know from the last 18 months, that people were not always sure if the hotel was open, can I travel, what are the restrictions, etc. Of course, Europe had a bigger hit on us on revenue, less revenue than the States. The States were really growing very fast. And maybe also people saw we made an announcement to go public this year. And it means that we, at the right moment, I think, we did well in the COVID, but also we want to go back, especially to where we are very good at, is in our corporate bookings. So we expect really coming 2 years to boost really a lot of revenue to supply partners, or they can go via MeetingPackage or directly. But of course, we do this deal, for instance, because we want to go faster, and especially that our clients' behavior is changing. They don't want to wait anymore. I just spoke to my team. The last week is really, we get a lot of leads and requests coming in on corporate events again. So that's very good news. And of course, they need meeting rooms. And we don't want to go up and down to the hotel, who are mostly don't always have time to respond to RFP, we want to book that directly. So that's my view. That's also, I think, Jonas' view. What we see the coming years coming back, but I think we can do it in a more efficient way. And especially what I believe in, there's always, you need partners, and that's what we really invest in the COVID time. Partners who are really good at a certain area of the product, and for instance, MeetingPackage is that on the meeting rooms and conference rooms and F&B with it. So we're looking for partners who are brilliant in the space, so we can add them to our network and help our clients, and especially, of course, now internationally.
I think that's a good summary, and thanks, Bas, for that. And it especially highlights the fact that why we are here as MeetingPackage, also highlighting the fact of working with HotelPlanner and Meetings.com is exactly the point that we're becoming more and more the software, the integration layer between what the operations do and where the distribution comes from. And that means that we want to allow suppliers to have finally control over the distribution strategy when it comes to meetings and events. You already know from the OTA world and so forth that the channel managers came into play, etc., to allow more control on the distribution strategies as such. But now from the meetings and events section, we could say we're the largest one and maybe the only one that allows the connectivity and is a neutral player that does not compete with the marketplaces or the OTAs or the other players. So we allow the hotels purely to integrate the technology to their operations while still handling everything in the same platform, whether it's distribution coming from bookings coming from HotelPlanner or your own internet booking engine, that the hotels would have one single truth where the operations can run their business more efficiently in an online automated fashion. And that's all about today. So we're more going a little bit deeper. So I will go through the presentation of the product in a sense that what does it actually mean? What can you do in MeetingPackage, and how will it impact then the HotelPlanner network going future? Just to highlight, the integration work between the two companies is ongoing at the moment, not yet in a live environment. But the reason for this webinar is to highlight why you should act today, meaning to get your operations, your integrations in place, whether it's Opera, Xenium, whatever software you're running in behind the scenes, to finally connect them. Because once we have the full integration in place with HotelPlanner, then it's one click, then you can enable that distribution there with live availability, dynamic pricing, food and beverages, and having that possibility for both, and Bas, correct me if I'm wrong, but for both your agents as well as the possible consumers who book from the end marketplaces, whether they're P2P or P2C as such.
No, completely correct. And to add for everybody is that we have clients who do over 10,000 events a year, and mostly are especially international small meeting rooms they need in hotel, outside hotel. That's a thing we see more and more, and even they don't have an office anymore, but they have to meet somewhere. Like next week, I'm going to London, and I had to book two meeting rooms because the office we had there will be opened again not before the 1st of December. So we see a big spike now, especially coming back out of COVID. And yes, it is or our HotelPlanner who take care of all the business coming in via us, where we have to handle for the client, or what more and more we see, of course, self-service, that people could be leisure, could be, we do a lot of wedding sites also, and it's all, they do everything themselves. So we need both online or, and we call it, it's all online, but what we do with our hotel planners, we suggest them the best hotel, for instance, in Stockholm. So that's our work, that's our extra service. We think this fits your event, but we like to send them then a link that they can book it themselves, and not that we have to be between it anymore or make a contract with the hotel. Just book it directly and everything is handled, because that's, I think, was what everybody wants.
We'll just take a few questions before I go to the product and how this works for you. So, and feel free to drop any questions during the period. We'll most probably take the remaining ones in the end. But anyway, there's one question which most probably was for you, Bas, regarding the regions that those new requests arrive when you mentioned. So do you see kind of some patterns, whether geographical, or is it based on the lockdowns at the moment, or what's your view on it?
The States was for us okay the last year, but also because we have great contracts with vital worker organizations, or maybe we also do a lot of we have all the big wedding sites you can imagine in the world, like Wedding Wire, Wedding Knot, who are especially in the States, Canada. So there's a big concentration over there. But what we see now is, now today we saw Germany is going the right direction, goes up. France goes up, UK goes up, Spain goes up. So we see those 4 countries now really spiking. The Scandinavian countries went up. And yeah, so that's for of course from Europe, we go from here, it goes very quickly up. But also, as I'm responsible for these areas, I have a big plan to really roll out Europe very quickly, and also with the announcement we made. So all areas, but of course we see most what's happening now in finally in the big cities, a lot of growing.
Perfect. And I'll answer to that question, which is most probably for us, is that what's the common reaction from the hotels when you tell them to go online from meeting space? I think the whole attitude has changed during the course of the pandemic, which used to be that, believe it or not, which sounds like stupidity in my ears, that going from offline to online doesn't make sense. That was pre-pandemic. We needed to convince a lot of hoteliers and suppliers that why it's now the right time to act, and why you should go online, and looking at end-to-end conversions, and looking at the time, reducing operational expenses, and all of these things. And what the pandemic, I think, that did was, first, it did a big change in the mindset. So a lot of hotels are now, okay, we need to sell online, but the question is how. So it's not anymore the kind of mentality and understanding that should we sell online, it's how we can sell online, what are the integration limitations as such, and going forward. And of course, hotels in this industry have been suffering a lot, and there's resources lacking and so forth, which ultimately results to the fact that things need to be automated going forward. And also the fact that it might slow down the implementation process because the resources are not there. It does not mean that you should not do it and invest now. And that's the point, that looking at to the future, whether it's a new pandemic, whether it's something else, if you are in an online environment, you can handle cancellations, modifications, all of them in an online environment, which meant that now you needed to still have the salespeople to take the cancellations as such. So there's a big mindset change that has happened.
And I think, Jonas, it's also even that what we saw is how easy is it to do a Zoom meeting. People expect how easy it will be to book a meeting room. So that's also change. So that's how easy I see it. The client decides what we have to implement.
100%. And the need is coming from the clients. As more and more people are working remotely, more and more people have stopped their leasing on their big corporate offices and are spending more time in getting, or more money than before, for small meeting rooms, whether it's 2 people, 3 hours, 4 people, 6 hours, or even 1 person to just get a room to work. So it can be a multiple of different things that are impacting, and the need and the demand is coming from the customers. Not so that it's only in the supplier's head or in our heads. The customers are craving for that. And that's, of course, something we hear from our corporate and TMC partners, which deal with the end users themselves. And most probably, Bas, you've heard that from your customers, that the efficiency, they want to book it online. They want to do it online, and I need to find it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a last question before I go. You did understand correctly, Bas mentioned weddings.
We support almost every wedding site where we find hotel rooms, plus of course the room where they get married. Yes, that's where we're number 1 in the world. And also now family reunions, I think that's a big one we're seeing also, where also people want to be together in a private room to have dinner with grandma, granddad. That's also a big spike we're seeing. So yes.
Perfect. Next, going to kind of the product, I'll just show you 3 slides, no more slides. That's the only thing. I just want to highlight the 3 possibilities that you as a supplier have. The first one is the venue and sales management tool, so MeetingPackage product suite combines of 3 products: venue and sales management, which allows your hotel or supply or the venue to integrate with any of your sales and catering, which we have an integration to, and of course any other which we don't have, we're happy to look into integrating towards us. And if you don't have any solution, we have our self-service model, which allows the venues that are not or do not want to invest in a sales and catering because you have 3 meeting rooms or 2 meeting rooms, which we call limited service hotels. They can utilize the technology of MeetingPackage to start selling purely online from both online and offline operational perspective, which means that the inventory is always up to date. Then we have the booking engine side, which allows you to manage. Once you've done this exercise, why not then take control over your own channel sales also, which again, once you do that, allows the distribution partner to also have access to the live availability, because everything is then handled through one platform as such. And the last one is then the channel manager, what we're then today focusing about, that how can we set the rules, parameters to sell in the channels such as HotelPlanner today. And if you look at it from an architecture point of view, this is how it looks. So we have the software behind the scenes, whether it's Oracle, Protel, Zenio, Muse, etc., where we then integrate the words, match the availability, maybe even the pricing, unless the pricing wants to be stored in MP. And then from there, we push it to the booking engine channel. So the channel manager piece then connects then to the likes of HotelPlanner. So that's kind of the architecture behind. And what we've been talking about here is 100% that going from the offline world, the type printer or whatever that's called in English, and going to a digital world. And it doesn't mean that you go to a digital world that you need to sell everything instantly online. We're talking about the possibility of managing your sales within one infrastructure. And of course, now you are in control on what rooms, what parameters you put, what is the pricing logic you put, and what properties you want to sell, or meeting rooms and function spaces you want to sell with different rules. So whether it's a request for proposal, what we discussed about, whether it's a booking request, or whatever it's an instant booking. These three categories are there. And for all of these, there's the possibility of having flexible pricing, dynamic pricing, minimum spend categories, hourly pricing, etc. And I'll show you that soon. But the main point for the ones who are like, hey, well, we have this ballroom, and Bas is talking about weddings. Yes, you can still utilize the MeetingPackage technology to cater and automate much of the things that your salespeople would do nowadays. Whether it's putting a tentative hold date and running after the customer, all of that will be handled through our APIs back to the HotelPlanner platforms. So that will be delivered there, meaning that you as a hotel, you don't need to work in anywhere else than in the MeetingPackage environment to take care of this, in case you want to facilitate the whole funnel, whether it's instant booking, request proposal, or booking request. And just highlighting what we're talking about, this is the way you've been doing today. So you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 channels in meetings and event worlds, and you know it's so fragmented. What that means is that you might have one channel which provides you one booking a month. You have one channel which provides you one booking a year, and then you might have someone which provides you 10 a week. But you still need to log into all of these platforms, create your profiles, update your information, and even update the request in that profile. So what we do from a technology side is you have that one platform which connects then to these multiple locations. And now only through HotelPlanner, is it wrong to say 10,000 different channels that they could be represented to, whether it's wedding sites or whether it's corporate sites, and whether it's the HotelPlanner own network. And that's the whole beauty of this. Beautiful. Then going to, just a moment, I'm gonna share the screen. And going to the actual product, there was some question, can I as a hotel and venue provider, meanwhile I update the page, have different rates for different clients or TMC partners? Yes. So the answer is yes, you can. And I'm going to show you how that will be done. And that's, again, those things that you have control over the distribution.
There is a new order coming in on Colinker.
Sorry.
I was like, did we get a new presenter? But that's his computer. So putting screen share back on, and sorry for the delay. All right, so you should see now the platform as such and the whole view. And then what we're now looking at is you're as logged in as a supplier. And within a supplier, you can configure your basic information, your location, your facilities, photos, terms. I'm not going to go into all those nitty-gritty details now. Some of those can be pulled from your operational software. Some of those need to be enhanced. So when we have an integration with the sales and catering, we call it enhancing the data. because the sales and catering and the operational softwares are not being meant or have not been built for online sales, meaning that the components that you need to have, whether it's images, content, descriptions, taxonomies, those need to be applied here that then impact those distributions such as such. Again, this is just to show you kind of the back end of it, so how the supply manages their rooms. This is the basic setup, so nothing about pricing and such is in this page. Those are all in the rates and products pages. But as you can see, you can have different rooms which are web bookable, not web bookable, combo rooms, etc. And if I go here, this is an Opera property. So I have two properties here side by side. The first one was a standalone property, and this is now an Opera property, where you can see that there's room code on the right-hand side. And the room code matches with your sales and catering, allowing that then to pull the availability as well as push bookings back, either as an inquiry, as a definite booking, meaning that your operational staff can handle it within the system that you use today, whether it's Opera, whether it's Zenium, whether it's Muse, etc. Then going to the pricing section. So this is now an interesting one where we applied a few new rules lately. We launched, I think, 2-3 weeks ago when we have entered heavily the US market and even the event spaces, which don't primarily sell with hourly rates, half-day rates, or restaurants. So we have a lot of restaurants joining us because they have started to sell their spaces for events because of the pandemic and the restrictions. They can still cater private events, but not necessarily normal restaurant guests. So for that reason, we developed a new pricing function, which is called minimum spend. So you could have your hourly rate, half-day rate, full-day rate, but on top of that, you can still configure a minimum spend, which then deducts from that rule, meaning that if you have a 500 euro minimum spend and you don't have any room rental, you need to buy food and beverage items, you need to buy bedrooms for that 500. And this again applies. So when we push this information back to the networks like HotelPlanner, they would automatically see what is the pricing rule. Their parameters is, hey, this customer wants from 9 to 11. Give me the room, give me the price. And we populate it through our APIs back to HotelPlanner. Once they make a booking, it comes back as a transaction to MeetingPackage. And whether there's an operational software behind the scenes, it goes back there also. So streamlining the whole operations and the back and forward, what Bas mentioned earlier, kind of going through are you available, what is the price, to automate one part. So availability is one, but pricing is really important and giving you the flexibility as a hotel to define whether it's hourly, half day, full day, whether it's minimum spend. And on top of that, if you want to configure seasonal pricing, you can do that also. So start date, end dates, whether it's discount, whether it's a fixed price. And all of that can be displayed. So you can configure it in multi-levels for each individual room. And when the API partners fetch the information, they don't need to know the math behind it. They just get the price that is available, what you have configured as a hotel. Beautiful. Then going to the packages. So now we've talked about rooms through the APIs in case, and this is something, of course, will be decided later on, but the APIs allow HotelPlanner also to sell TDRs, daily delegate rates, and packages if so wanted through their APIs or within the internet booking engine of your hotel. What that means is that you can create the package, the content, and again, this information can also be pulled from sales and catering if that information is there. And if it's not, you can populate the fields here, and we can even push it into the operational system as a meeting room hire and different line items, but show it to the customer. And we're talking about simplicity, what the customer wants to see. Okay, if I want lunch and 2 coffee breaks and the meeting room, what's the price? And if you turn the price, which could be a fixed price, as you can see here, or if I would have this as a unit price instead of a person price, it automatically calculates then the delegate price for the customer and shows that price to them, which ultimately, again, from a sales perspective, they see a smaller figure, which ultimately is the same figure that a total figure would be. But it's priced per attendee at that point. And you can add whatever items you want, lunches, dinners, etc. If I add package content, it will give me all the possibilities that I have stored in my catalog as such. So whether it's shuttle bus to city center included in this package, it would be available in the package as such. Then going to the function diary. So again, now if we are connected to the sales and catering. So what I showed you earlier now was the room pricing, how you can configure that, what are the options there. Then the DDRs, daily delegate rates and packages, what are the options there. And then the remaining catalog items, I'm not going to go there now, but within the catalog, you can put the menu items, miscellaneous items, group booking bedroom items as such. And those can be, again, linked to the sales and catering or used as a standalone here. When it comes to function diary, if we would be now as a standalone property, meaning that you don't have any solution today, but you have 4 meeting rooms, which you're using in Google Spreadsheet or let's say a piece of paper on your table, you can start creating offline proposals within the system also. So if I make a drag and drop, apparently my subscription is not valid for this account. So there's different subscription tiers with the product, but you can create offline bookings also, which means that once you implement MeetingPackage, you can put all your offline transactions here, which would automatically fetch then the customer information that you have done here. So as you can see, it automatically populates all the customer details, meaning the work that you would do in an Excel calendar piece of paper, you can bring it to an online environment. And of course, the more full service hotels, they already use a sales and catering, and our product is not the best for a full service hotel, but we enhance the full service hotels' existing sales and catering functions to bring it into an online environment. So these things would not need to be done because it's automatically blocked. Finally, the last piece is what I'm going to show is you still have more configuration and control. And I'm all the time saying about control over your distribution strategy, how you sell, where you sell. So whether it's safe meetings policy, meaning how much you can take into your hotel, we automatically reduce the capacity if it's social distancing whatsoever. You can connect to your payment gateway, so which we can automatically then push towards the API, that you can pre-take money also to your property and push the money transaction back. PMS, so whether it's sales and catering integration, some of the sales and caterings we've done as a self-service model, some of the ones which are done like Opera, unfortunately, we haven't been able to do as a self-serve model yet, but the integration exists, so we need to enable the IPs and things like that before going to the cloud environment of Oracle, which then would allow us to do this self-service model directly. And here you can automatically, all self-service, you can connect to your PMS directly within the platform. Instant booking, so here you have the possibility of defining how you want to receive instant booking. So if I go to the settings here, the instant booking configuration, this one, let me change this to my Allo Hotel test. So this one allows you to configure minimum lead times, and this will again be pulled from the API. So giving you control where you want to sell instantly, what time you want to sell instantly. So let's say in Saturday and Sunday, you want to have a longer lead time because you don't have staff available. You can put that to 80 hours, meaning that now if someone from HotelPlanner searches on Friday for Saturday, it's not instantly bookable. So the customer would not know that it's that they would be reserving that. And that all is defined in the API calls again. Same applies to maximum lead time, number of delegates. You can apply it per individual rooms or to the whole property as such. Then coming to the corporate section. So now, currently, the channels have a unified channel code, which we will give to the customer. So, for example, here's some testing students, Ericsson, TTTTT, etc. So what this means is that you can price differently for your own internet booking engine. So you have the base prices that you put, the seasonal pricing, but you can still modify the pricing for HotelPlanner network. You can modify the pricing for your internet booking engine. So let's say that now HotelPlanner network, you want to give a 10% discount. You can do a discount percentage or a fixed rate. So whichever you want, or the other way around. And the same applies then if you want to do it for your IPE. We give you the code for your IPE, which allows here. We're changing this UI, so don't look, it's horrible, I hate it myself. but this UI will be changed in a sense that the code will be represented as a site name. So instead of the code, it will be automatically HotelPlanner, and then you just edit the pricing there. So we will give you visibility to all of the channels that allows you then to control how you sell there, what are the rules you sell there, and the pricing you sell there. So again, if you now are a supplier that you have a heavy engagement with HotelPlanner and you've signed a deal separately with HotelPlanner and Bas is doing his magic so that you would offer 10% discount to all HotelPlanner guests, this is how you do it. You just apply that 10% discount and it applies to that network only. Then opening a transaction. So from a hotel's perspective, everything can still be managed within the infrastructure, within the software. So whether it's a confirmed booking, whether it's an inquiry, all of this can be handled, and it talks two-way. And this is what we mentioned earlier, that we can also handle the inquiries as such. Then it would be in this stage, all the communication we have, the hotel uses one interface, but the message that you put will go back through the APIs to the HotelPlanner user interface, and vice versa. If a customer types something in HotelPlanner network, it comes back here. So the supplier will have one interaction place. You can put internal notes to your staff, as well as then modify the actual quotation. And normally there would be an acceptance protocol if it would be a request-based booking. So you confirm and then the customer confirms. But now, since it's an instant booking, as you can see, it's automatically confirmed. Revenue confirmed, money in the bank. And here you can add as many line items you want. But of course, if it's a confirmed booking, it goes then back to the status that the customer needs to confirm your changes if those happen. Going to a customer-facing site, what you see now is just a demo of my own desk profile. I can show you, for example, Nordic Choice has enabled our booking engine and our technology throughout their whole brand. So you can see their properties, what they have to offer, the descriptions, etc. Really nice example of a great customer that we have, which has enabled the product really, really well. But going back to my desk property, I can just show you the three options that I mentioned earlier. So you can see this is instantly bookable. And there's a minimum spend of 200 euros, which is shown here, and room rental of $2 or $2 in this case. So it's a USD-based venue. And as you can see, it automatically gives the spread to the customer that, hey, minimum spend required, 200. If they go to the checkout page where they select food and beverage items, it automatically reduces from the minimum spend. And if it goes above 200, the flag goes away. So you've actually went past that what is needed to do. Instant booking, minimum spend combination. Meeting room blue, no instant booking, send request. So the instant booking, what we said earlier, was defined in the settings that you can monitor yourself. Packages, as said here, and you can see the split, what is per person automatically and what is included. Then we have minimum spend with send request, so not instant booking. And as you can see, then we have a conference room where we don't want to sell the room rental as such only, which is then an inquiry. So we're not giving a price even for that, but actually from a yield management and revenue management perspective, they know that they can serve a daily delegate rate, because when that has a minimum capacity of X people, then we reach to the level that we can sell it online or in a request-based form. So here, this is a booking request. You know the price. We always check the availability beforehand, but not to confirm it for the customer. And here, room rental, inquiry-based. So as you can see, there's all the variations, products listed for the customers as such. How this will be all embedded and viewed within the HotelPlanner network, that's to be revealed once we go live. Because again, this is just one way of displaying it. The main point is the business rules are configured by you as a hotel. The configurations, the pictures, images are all configured by you. And then how it's displayed to the customers is up to the distribution channel, in this case, HotelPlanner, how they present it and do it. But there's no way around kind of the settings that you have done. So protecting you from that strategy perspective as such. Beautiful. I think I did my monologue quite quickly. And sorry for if someone has been seeing this earlier, but the main point was that we just wanted to give you comfort in that what makes sense to do now, why it's important to do it now, and what other possibilities you have, whether it's your own channel sales through the booking engine, whether it's then distribution. And then once we get live with HotelPlanner, that's the most important. You need to be available there to get traction and get more bookings with less work, saving in operational expenses. What do you think, Paz? I think the first demo you've seen in a while.
Yeah, it looks good. No, I think it's good. And to add exactly that, I'm just thinking about we have also we do more also back to business sport events. So there's also that the sport people need meeting spaces, or they have like all the delayed award shows, conference rooms. So yeah, so everything comes together, and also to be of course a lot of things. I see the flow looks a lot of similar, of course, how we work with hotel chains. The only difference we try to accomplish with MeetingPackage to get more instant bookable rooms. So configuration, all the things is mostly available on content with us, but we want to go one step further and then capture really the big market. What we think is, especially internationally, is the meeting rooms. Next to the conference rooms will mostly be an RFP, because a lot of people want to say, they want a lot of different stuff, but on meeting with 10 people or sport team or whatever, that's, I think, pretty straightforward, and that's it. So it looks good.
There's a few questions now. Are you familiar with the PMS called EC? Have you integrated with them? No, not familiar. I'll make a note myself. In case the person who meant that question, if you have context there, or if you have a use case there, happy to hear it. You can send it to Jonas@meetingpackage.com, and I'm happy to look into it. For some reason, for everyone to know, I'm Jonas, not Matti Rautanen. No idea why our marketing director has hacked this, in a sense that I'm always called Matti.
That's why he's marketing director. He wants to do some branding for himself.
True story. But yeah, there's my email for, please send me a kind of a use case, and if you have any connections there, / are you using them yourself, happy to hear, to see. Just from a PMS world, for the ones here in the world, in the call, is that there's two kinds of them. We have the PMSs that don't necessarily cater to function spaces and so forth, which are focused solely on bedrooms, like we have more Muse, Apaleo kind of providers. And then we have the larger ones like Oracle, Amadeus, etc., which then have a other module that handles it, which is called the sales and catering. And that information is typically of the meetings and events saved in the sales and catering. So summarizing to the EC part, it might be that we need to work as the backend for the limited service hotels if they don't have anything on that topic, or alternatively can work it the full way integration as we have with the likes of Oracle. How to claim your existing hotel profile? It might be that there's a user that at the moment is associated to your profile. There's a chat box in MeetingPackage, and our customer service rep will automatically contact you, do some review questions to see that you are from the hotel, and then assign it and give you access. Or if there's another person within the hotel, we will ask them to invite. Unfortunately, there's a lot of cases in this industry that the people who have access have been furloughed or something else. So this is not a new thing for us, and most probably, Paz, you've seen this same thing on your side, that users are associated.
If we don't know, it's sometimes also we start with sending them an RFP and try to find the right person again within the hotel. Yeah.
But I think it's a typical issue in this industry, such from our side, that there's people changing and then user accounts to someone, and then we need to just see that it matches and give you the one, and no hard. It's not a big work, so to say. So just let us know. Matti, it is. Perfect. Any other questions? I think that was for the actual presentation. Anything you want, Paz, to add, kind of looking to the future?
No, I think you covered it all. And, for you to know, we as HotelPlanner really concentrate always merely, not merely, but for corporate clients, we do both, really meeting rooms and hotel rooms. A lot of clients, we really concentrate on the hotel rooms because also in the groups, instant group rates for hotel rooms are still a lot to do to get that done. I mean, it's 5+ rooms, 10+ rooms. Also for you to know, and that's really that you get a little bit of a size of kind of traffic and also about how big our channels are. But every OTA or meta you can imagine around the world, and it can be Agoda, Expedia, Trivago. They all send their, we call it group business, but it's also mostly corporate business because it's mostly with multiple people going to something. Doesn't matter if it's what I just said, wedding, family reunion, corporate event. They all send that to us because it is specialized business where we are in. So even Google was very good. They're all very good at 2 people, double room, 2 people, 2 beds. But you go into more, then almost none of them crack that model. And I think we did a big step. And I think with an addition to this, we can even do more conversion. And that's where I'm in for. And then we can just build. And also next week again, there's a very big partner we had. We're also missing out. I think they support almost every big event, could be a travel event or ITB and these. They also want to see more automation on the marketing they're doing. And they see especially very last minute that they cannot handle now what Jonas said. Also, a lot of staff is gone, unfortunately, or furlough, but also there's a lack of people at this moment. It was very strange. We had a COVID time. But I see this with hotels, restaurants, everything. People cannot find people anymore to be supportive. And these kind of things to automate, you don't need that support function anymore because you can automate it. And I think that also, and they can concentrate on the guest who's coming into the venue or in the hotel and to give him the best time and get a great review back if they leave. So that's, I think, what I want to add.
Yeah, I think a good summary is the future is automation, and then as much as possible. And what we've seen is COVID has accelerated that to the mindset at least, and now it's more the fact that let's make it happen. And then we're here to support from both sides of the pie, from demand and supply side and technology side. So please contact us if there's anything else, any questions you may have for either of us. And I'm quite happy to say that Bas is most probably also available for any questions.
Yeah. And one thing I really want to add, because it's really important for a lot of hotels sometimes from the last years, what I saw. You can also, and I think, I don't know, Jonas, but also certain hotels don't want to have certain clients. You can say, sometimes you have a stag party, you don't want them in your room. So it's also what we do, also for you to know, we filter out. And also if the venue wants that, we know for sure, okay, there's no use to send these clients to this hotel because they're not waiting for that, especially sometimes corporate hotel or what I just said, they have already a big event at the hotel, so you cannot have more, so you can block that. So all these possibilities we are very used to. So you can really filter out what kind of client you want to have and which one you want to automate.
100%. And that's again coming back to the kind of controlled distribution strategy that, of course, at the same time, we allow hotels and venues to decide on which channels they're representing as such. So let's put it like this, underlying the fact that the control needs to be in your side from the supply. And then we want to encourage that and to help you come over that, the possibilities of distributing with a controlled way.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And hopefully, if we make our numbers correctly, it will be a really nice coming 3, 4, 5 years for everybody. So let's do this.
100%. I couldn't be or thinking more the same. It's 100% exactly like that. At this point, I want to thank everyone on this call, especially Bas from HotelPlanner meetings.com. Thank you for joining us and having you here and giving your 2 cents to everyone. So really appreciate it.
Yeah. And any questions, please address them to us. We all in here together. So we need you, and if not, we cannot sell anything anyhow. And so we all need each other. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.